Welcome back, guys, to yet another World of Warcraft video on this channel. Today we are actually going over the Wowhead Economy Weekly Wrap-Up. I know I missed last week's post. That actually wasn't on purpose, but considering the fact that it's last week, we can't really go over it anymore. So there's just a lapse. Don't ask questions about it. That's how it is. Make sure you guys drop a like on the video. Also subscribe to the channel with all the notifications on. And yeah, let's get into it. That's all I have. I mean, there's nothing else. This is going to be the Wowhead Economy Weekly Wrap-Up number 223. This is the last one before the new expansion is announced. You guys can see that I'm currently recording this at almost 2 a.m. Going into Monday. So quite late in the night, but that's, you know, that's fine. Anyway, as always, appreciate Seminan for putting this lovely little post together. And obviously, he's talking about the fact that he's going over some predictions for some 10.0 gold making, as you can see for the table of contents. There's also the token price watch, starting from nothing after being super rich, TSM milling prices from WoW till Shadowlands, and beginner old world markets. So let's see. These are Seminan's predictions for 10.0. Let's see what he has. Player housing. This would be an absolute fantastic addition to WoW if done well and not like Garrison 2.0. I agree with that. I'm talking about full customization of player properties, items, heirlooms, and furniture could be collected from various locations and better yet crafted by other players. Yeah, I mean, this right here, I would love for player housing to be a thing, but I would be very surprised if we're actually going to see it. I would love it, of course. And of course, he's putting here, together with the fact that he's hoping for player housing, he is hoping for a new profession called carpentry, which obviously makes sense because that would be a profession directly related to what player housing is. And I mean, obviously, that would be super awesome to incorporate what professions are into the player housing system. I wholeheartedly agree. And then we have profession quests and tools of the trade. Ah, okay. So actually, so he is this more, I mean, obviously, yeah, this seems like wishful thinking more than predictions, but he's hoping for profession quests and tools of the trade, kind of similar to what we had in Legion and in BFA, obviously with the tools of the trade, with each individual profession having some quest lines to unlock the different recipes and ranks that we used to have in Legion, and tools of the trade were like a long quest line that you had to do to unlock this specific item that you used. I mean, I like it. I like the little more in-depth thing for the profession. It would be awesome. He's saying more Mage Tower like challenges from each era. I mean, this would be awesome to see, like challenge mode dungeons, which is basically what turned into Mythic Plus. But it would be awesome to see that on some of the older content, or just like speed running stuff. I would love for them to make new challenges in some of the old world content. I mean, definitely that'd be awesome. And then he's talking about cross faction, cross realm trading. I mean, obviously they're talking about the fact that cross-faction is going to be a huge thing, not only in 10.0, but in 9.2.5, even before the new expansion comes out. And I'm sure along the way that a lot of this is starting to get unlocked. Cross-realm trading, maybe down the road as well. It would definitely have very, very huge impacts as to how the expansion would be, or not expansion, but how the player economy would drive around with that. Specifically, more Crafter's Marks and optional reagents. He's saying that the Crafter's Mark system worked really well for Shadowlands. It kept gear current and did not rely on grind through previous ranks. The optional reagents were also a fantastic way of adding flavor and bespoke crafting. The way the progenitor enhancements and utility is, yeah, I mean, that's true. I actually really liked Crafter's Marks and optional reagents, and I hope we see more of it in the same light, so things don't just get super useless and you have to grind all new stuff all over again. But then again, I also don't mind that. You know, I just want new stuff for professions. He's hoping for legendaries. Having craftable best in slot items in the game is fantastic for professions in the open market. The way they will implement it in Shadowlands, less so. Certainly having a system more akin to Crafter's Marks with perhaps a quest to unlock rather than money. Rare reagents that are tradable like Progenitor Essentia will also open up opportunities for gold making, so players aren't forced into one area. I mean, I definitely I agree to some extent with that. I don't think, I mean, obviously, if you're thinking from a pure gold making perspective, legendaries were good for gold making, but they were not, I don't think for the overall player base they were good. And he's obviously talking about the fact that he wants it to be cheaper and easier to acquire, which I mean, I definitely agree with that. I think professions should have some use when it comes to in-game activities and not just for consumables. I definitely think that's the case for that. And here to end it off, he's talking about a revamped auction house and buy orders. And he's saying the auction house already has had a revamp, which has on the whole been much better for the buyer and the seller. The cancel scam meta is still the bane of many, and perhaps something like introducing buy orders, oh, I see what he's saying, would allow players to match prices and demand go on specific farming missions for other players. With the added option of reagents, it would be really useful if they were displayed better and or searchable on, oh, these were, yeah, okay. So, I mean, obviously, buy orders and, like, potentially sell orders would be a huge thing to implement into the way that the auction house works. I think currently, with the way that we have the system with the last in, first out, buy orders and sell orders could definitely work. But I also think that I don't think that necessarily would solve the problem. It definitely would make it easier for both buyers and sellers to get their stuff, because if a buyer could put up a little order saying, I want these items, then a seller could go on and see, oh, he's selling that right there for this amount of gold. But, you know, it all depends on how that is implemented. It would definitely be cool. I think it would be really awesome to see something like that in the game, because then you could also very easily figure out what your gold per hour would be with a system like that. Like more, I guess, accurate prices and accurate ways of making gold. But either way, that would definitely be cool. I definitely think that a vast majority of this is extreme wishful thinking. But I mean, if we got any of this, I would be very happy. And then he's talking about token price watch. He's talking with the announcement so close, the chances are some sort of pre-order will be announced, and perhaps now is the best time to buy tokens. The price right now is certainly very attractive. So obviously posting this on a Sunday, considering the fact that you guys are going to see this on a Monday, that is the day before the new expansion launches, and I'm pretty sure already at this point that the token is 277k. So if you guys have not purchased your tokens already, chances are they're going to be extremely expensive by the time you watch this video, and maybe even on the actual release date itself. But yes, if you have been buying your tokens a little bit before this, you know, half a week ago, you could have gotten them a lot cheaper. That's definitely something that's important with that. But anyway, there's also a little post here that goes over starting from nothing after being super rich. And that is basically here, K-Jack put together a video where he talks about how would he start out gold making if he were to lose all of his gold, which is 600 plus million gold, which is obviously huge. And you know, it's an interesting video, but this for a lot of players would obviously more like be I guess just a cool video to see, because it's so outlandish for a lot of the ways that people make make gold in the game. But definitely it's worth a watch. It's a very interesting video to listen to and see, especially because of how much gold he has. So I definitely recommend you guys going to watch this specifically. And then we have Saigon Paul. If you guys don't know him, he's an active person on the Reddit, the WoW Economy Reddit specifically. He makes a lot of like TSM strings and long and lengthy posts and explanations and all sorts of stuff that actually goes through very complex things. And right here, he made a TSM string that actually calculates the prices of pigments all the way from WoD till Shadowlands. So if you guys are interested in milling specifically, you guys should definitely figure out how this works and read through this, because it's definitely good to understand this, especially if you're thinking about using it through TSM. So there's a lot of information on this post, so I'm actually not going to go over it. But if you are interested, obviously the Wowhead post is going to be linked down below. And besides that, we have here beginner old world markets. Penguin has a video that is basically starter old world markets, where she goes through a couple of her favorites to actually maybe introduce you guys into the very, very early beginner gold making levels. And this is good for anyone just starting out, or anyone looking for some inspiration on how to get better at gold making, growing your overall stock, or like diversifying into something else. Definitely take the time to watch this video, because it's a good one, as many of her other videos also are. But that seems to be it for this post. And yeah, I mean, that's going to be everything that we had too. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure you drop a like on the video, and also subscribe to the channel with all the notifications on. But that is going to be everything that I had, and until the next one, see you guys.